Hello and welcome to Nitro Talk. Today we're going to be taking a look at this Novarossi. I'm calling it an S12 for now. I'm sure it has other number or letters associated with it, but I'm not really sure what they are. If you're into nitro engines, nitro vehicles, anything at all to do with the nitro side of the RC hobby, I would love a like and subscribe. Thank you very, very much for joining me. If you saw the video on the NSR 12 race here, if you didn't, check it out. A lot of super cool stuff going on with that engine there. I wanted to leave that out to kind of do a little contrast and compare because these both have the S12 crankcase, but I don't know exactly how similar this is going to be. Again, I got this engine just like this. I don't have a box or anything for it, so I don't know exactly which engine it is. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, another thing you might have noticed, I got a group of engines, a few different ones at one time, and they all had this crank. It's a two-piece crank with the removable stud. That's it with the stud removed. Here's one with the stud in place. And right here is one of the studs. This is an RB part, but that is the removable threaded crank stud right there. All right. Another thing I noticed on this engine, which I think is a little unique, it's got hex hardware all throughout. I've seen these back plates, not a whole lot. Usually they have flatheads on the cooling head, but this one has 2.5 millimeter hex. Probably somebody changed them. I know that I have switched a lot. I used to do it all the time. A lot of my older Novarossis that I used to run, I switched them over to 2.5 millimeter hex. I preferred it over the flathead. And I touched upon this also in the last video, since I got my Novarossi specific flathead there, I tend to leave them, natural with the flatheads in them. All right, let's get this thing apart and take a look. See it here. Now, I'm going to pretty much say off rip here that this is not going to be like that NSR race engine. That thing, very highly modified. I love getting a look at engines like that. They're always very interesting to me. Highly modified engines with a lot of interesting stuff to look at. That's what I dig. All right. And what are we doing here? All right. Got our cooling head and head button. This one here is a standard plug, not a turbo plug. And this thing is coming apart fairly easily. And we want to go ahead and might as well take the carb off as well. It's like my only handy that this size is on the end of this four-way. All right. So there is our mystery S12. If anyone knows which specifically engine this is, I would love to hear from you. All right. So starting off, does this have, yeah, so these have the same shine cuts on them. Little color's a little different. But same shape, had the classic Novarossi shape on the heads here. And they are about enough, they're deep enough for the head button to sit up in there. Whoa there. Now this has a copper. I remember this had a 0.2 millimeter aluminum, which is a little different. Usually the 0.2s will be copper or brass. This is a 0.2. And again, a standard plug. It is a Novarossi plug in here. And you can always tell a Novarossi plug by the dots on the top. And it looks to be in there nicely. It's well placed. It's not too high, not too low. It's sitting right where it needs to be, the glow plug. Thick head button on here. We're going to be doing a few more Novarossi 12s. I know a few of them have a much thinner head button. This is one of the thick ones here. There is that two-piece crank stud crank. Now this is where I'm going to show you. When I talk about this is the induction window, okay? I'll talk about how the leading edge is nice and sharp, okay, on a higher end race engine. You can see on this one how that wall there, that edge, that's the leading edge, right? It spins that way. So yeah, you see how it just kind of cut flat there, right? Just has just like a flat wall cutting into the air as it spins, right? This on the NSR 3, you see how it's shaved down. You can see, oh, come on now. You can see like where the metal has been cut away to make the edge there, and how it's much sharper. It's much thinner edge right there. So that is a nice thin leading edge, and that is a chunky, flat leading edge. We do have a fang in here. It's a full round as opposed to the not full round of the other one. Does have a fang there, although that fang's not really at the hole, right? It's kind of off, isn't it? That shouldn't the fang be kind of guiding it from the hole right there, right? It's kind of doesn't really meet up with it. It's kind of odd. And then we got our little cutouts in the back there. That's our crank. Now this is the back plate. I had mentioned how so from the back, okay, those are different cuts. You see how this cut goes further back than that one? They both have a cutout, but they're a little different. And you can see that the one has a ledge, you can see from the outside, and this other one does not. You can't tell which side is up from the outside on this one, but this one you can because of the little edge. We do have an O-ring set at the base. All right. Go ahead and look at that. Now, this is a 3 needle. Remember, I had mentioned, if you saw that video on the NS3, it's a 2 needle. 2 needle, 2 barbs on the banjo fitting. That's cool. This one here on this S12 is a 3 needle carb. All right. It's the mid needle, low speed and high speed plastic banjo fitting. This one has an O-ring set into the throat, whereas the other does not. And it's got their standard length arm, where the other one has that kooky long arm on it there. You know, I love different stuff. I love seeing different things. That'd be cool. Let's see if now we had noticed how they have different pinch bolts, right? You see how one pinch bolt is larger than the other. Let's see if they have the same dividing cuts inside. And looks like they do. Have the inside cuts to the crankcase are the same on those two. And it almost makes me think that they might have come with that bearing. They got the exact same bearing, just number coded. Made in Italy, of course. Steel bearing, although now those are the same size crank, right? Yeah, those cranks are the same size, but you'll see the one has larger steel balls and the other has a smaller number of larger balls. Well, that one has a larger number of smaller balls. Big balls, small balls. All right, so that's the crank case. We took a look at the crank. We saw the carb, the back plate. Our piston, I believe, is probably going to be the same. Neither of them have bypass hole ports. Both have, looks like, the same rod. Pistons are the same. Knife edge on there. It's a little rod. It's a 12, of course. Can't be mad at it for having a little rod. Non-domed, of course. All right, that's that. We took a look at the head button already as well. Now, here's where we're... so we had mucho going on with that one, although it is still a 3-port, right? It's a highly modified 3-port, but it is a 3-port. Let me just wonder. Let me just take a look here and see. Here's what I'm wondering. Could you take this sleeve, right, this exact sleeve, and turn it into this sleeve, the sleeve from the this very highly modified the NSR12 sleeve? Yeah, it looks like that port could have started life as that port. They look like they could have been started out the same. Nice ramp on that one right there. Come around to our Schnurley ports, and the top of them looks like they're the same size. I think you could turn this into that. A lot of cutting, but I think it could be done. And then our exhaust port, again, they ramped the exhaust port. This wasn't Novarossi factory done. This had to have been a home job, because there's just no point to ramp the exhaust port because it doesn't come in there, it comes out there. Anyways, yeah, I don't see anything that you could not, any difference that you could not make this exact sleeve out of this. They could have started off the exact same sleeve. 3-port. So get a look at it. No ramping on your Schnurleys here, but a very nice angled cut to them. Very nice work, nice cuts. These are factory cuts. Very nice, smooth, even. Very nice big ramp on that one. Yeah, just like a standard 3-port. And as I've said many times before, A simple 3-port design, right, can do a ton, can do wonders. You can get a screaming engine with a sleeve that looks just like that, just like a simple, non-fanged, non-ramped 3-port like that. You can get some incredible performance from that kind of port setup there. It's, not so simple. The timing is what makes the magic happen. All right, so that is this S12 Novarossi engine. Which exactly one it is, who knows? I'd love to hear from you if you do. Thank you very, very much for watching. Gonna have a few more. I'm gonna knock out some Novarossi 12s, so they're gonna be coming. But then back to many other nitro engines, nitro vehicles, much more nitro to come. I'll see y'all there. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.